Focus. Focus up. I'm talking to you, Boss Hog and Heidi Ho. Hope you guys had a good dinner on Tuesday. Welcome to episode 74 of the Rubio Method. My name is Chris Rubio, host of the Rubio Method. You will be able to see this on YouTube. You'll be able to hear it on Spotify and iTunes, and you'll also be able to upload it on X. This is not a live show. My schedule was very crazy this week, and Jenna and I could not put all the times together to make sure we had one big live show. So I'm going to record it. If it doesn't turn out as well, I apologize, but this is my way of kind of venting, and there was too many good stories for me to pass up. And I was like, I can't go a whole nother week without talking to the audience because there's, like I said, there's some funny things happening out there. And that's the whole purpose of the show, is to keep you guys informed, but also keep you kind of laughing and just going, what the hell? Like I always say, sometimes I wish I had hair so I could pull it out. So what are we going to talk about today? I finally got to see the Savannah Bananas, but they were actually better than I thought. I thought they'd be. El Trumpo visited Arlington National Cemetery, and all hell broke loose for some reason. Okay. Cheers to Kamala for doing her first sit-down interview. We'll talk about that one a little bit more. Mark Zuckerberg, the head of Facebook, Meta, whatever you want to call it now, writes this massive letter. And people should be diving into this going, what, you guys, should we talk about this? And no one's talking about it. No one. You look at the left, not even the right. It's just kind of a fart in the wind. Okay. And there's some people with issues in life, but there's this dude in Louisville that has some major issues. I had to talk about it because I read this. I go, what? And it's be the only thing that I don't put video or photos with, and you'll understand when we get there. All of that and much more on today's episode of the Rubio Method. Don't forget, this is 74. Make sure you share, subscribe, and like. Make sure you tell some people about the show, okay? So let's just jump right into it. Everything happens for a reason. All right, so you guys have heard me talk about the Savannah Bananas. Anyone that doesn't know what the Savannah Bananas are, obviously just pause this right now, go to YouTube, Google, Spotify, whatever you're going to do, and just look up Savannah Bananas. Well, you couldn't do Spotify. That'd be kind of weird, considering it's a visual thing. Savannah Bananas, easiest way to explain it, it's Harlem Globetrotters for baseball. Okay, if you know the Harlem Globetrotters, they're just doing tricks and all this stuff. They're going into the crowd. Savannah Bananas is even more Harlem Globetrotters than the Harlem Globetrotters, because the Harlem Globetrotters are fun. I've seen them actually as well several times, and they are a great time. I thought that the Savannah Bananas, it was more upbeat. There was no downtime at all. And it's one of those things that if you are ever in a bad mood, my wife made a very good comment on this. She says, you ever in a bad mood? Just go to this game, and for 2 hours, you will be entertained, laugh your ass off, and you'll just be happy. It's one of those things that no matter what you're doing, whatever part of the game is, you're smiling. And it's not just because they're doing something funny, okay? But it's because they're just entertaining, and they have it very well scripted out of exactly what's going to happen per inning, all right? So remember, the rules are, every run you score counts for 1 inning. So if my team scores 3 runs and you score 2 in the first inning, my team gets 1 run. All right. If you hit a foul ball and the crowd catches it, it's an out. If you do like a trick play when you're catching the ball, like literally doing a backflip as you're catching it, you get an extra out or things like that. It's just very entertaining. There's a dude on stilts. One of the most entertaining people was, and I had no idea about this, but my 13-year-old who was with us said, yeah, he's like really famous, was the home plate umpire. Now this dude, I'm gonna show you a video right after this. This dude is maybe 5'6", 5'7", and he's pushing, let's go about 230 to 250. I don't want to embarrass or anything like that, but he's got incredible dance moves. And he's literally rocking and rolling and doing all these dance moves right until the pitch comes. So like the pitcher's doing this like this, and this guy's still doing his dance moves, and then boom, he sets in balls and strikes. And when he has a third strike call, holy hell, that's what this video is going to come in right now. As you can see, he's hilarious. He's absolutely just too funny, and he's a good damn dancer. Like it was like, okay, it'd be funny if he's bad dancer and he doesn't, he's like a Lane on Seinfeld. But this dude was very, very good and just nonstop entertainment. I found myself watching him more than I was actually watching the damn game, which you had to focus. It was almost like being at a Vegas Cirque du Soleil show where there's so much happening, there's so much stimulation, and it's all good that you almost get overwhelmed. You're like, well, do I look over here? No, I got to look over here. And I say scripted because they have a play-by-play of what they're doing, like what songs are coming out and what happens. Like for instance, one time there was a guy got hit by a pitch. Okay, got hit by a pitch, and immediately someone throws a pillow out, and then both teams, the Savannah Bananas and the Party Animals, they have a damn pillow fight in the infield. And so you have 22 guys just beating the hell out of each other with pillows. It was outstanding entertainment. I want to give a special shout out to Roman Mullen. He's one of my long snappers and helped me. He actually knows Matt Deeb on the team, Deeb. He also played football at Notre Dame High School with Scott Daly, who's now with the Chicago Bears. He came over, was very polite, gave my son a baseball, went out of his way to go all the way back to home plate to get a baseball. So shout out to him. The players could not have been more player friendly. I mean, they were interacting with the crowd as much as possible. I mean, a lot of times they were actually walking into the crowd, which is rare, with cleats and all that stuff. But they just did an outstanding job. Any city that is thinking about bringing the Savannah Bananas in, I would say 100% do it. They are printing money. I mean, the concession stands were always at least 100 people deep, and I don't know if they were just slow or whatever, but then the concessions were the food, the merch sales. They must have had 6 or 7 merch tents set up, and each one was 50 people deep. We ended up, during the game, going outside to one outside to get a shirt and a hat for my son, but it was fantastic. I couldn't have been more impressed. I couldn't have been more impressed. And that says a lot about me because I'm usually coming in pessimistic. Like you hear a lot of good things about something and it's always going to, bring you down. You're like, well, they couldn't live up to the hype. This actually lived up to the hype. Here's some video and pictures that I took of my experience. As you can tell, it was just phenomenal. I had a really good time. Shout out to Savannah Bananas, and thanks again to Roman, Matt Deebs, and also Angel for kind of working it all together. Let's move on. All right, there are winners and losers in life. All right, so El Trumpo, a week back, he goes and he visits Arlington National Cemetery. This is the big soldier cemetery. If you've never been to it, I highly recommend it. It's out in DC. It's one of those emotional experiences. Like if you've ever been to the Vietnam Memorial, the wall, you will lose your mind there. I mean, because there's always at least one vet there just kind of looking up at his buddy's name, and it's hard not to get emotional. And that's the same thing with Arlington National Cemetery. So El Trumpo was there honoring the 13 soldiers that were killed in the botched Afghanistan withdrawal 3 years ago. It was a 3-year anniversary. So he goes and right away, they're obviously taking video of it. They've got pictures of it. It's going all across the internet. And immediately, everyone on the left starts losing their mind. And what's the problem here? Like, why would you lose your mind on this? Like, this is a former president going to honor the 13 troops. Oh, okay, why? And here's the thing, as they're putting him down, because they're saying, number one, he was doing this for political purposes. There's no reason to have videotape there. There's no need to have pictures there. There's no need to have cameraman, photographers, all that. None of that. You shouldn't be doing that. You're politicizing it. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, Rubio, but where was Joey B? Joey B was on the beach. He was on the beach in Delaware. He was, I think it was day 13 of his 16-day vacation because he spent 5 days in California, then another week and a half in Delaware. So he was on the beach. Okay, where was Kamala? Well, Kamala was at her house, which is less than 10 miles away in DC. But you're mad at Trump for going? Like, what the hell are you talking about? If anything, he should be praised for going. Why would you even say, like, oh, this is a negative? Oh, my God. And here's the thing with the pictures. Oh, you can't have pictures. They said you can't have pictures. You can't have smiling. You can't do thumbs up when you're there. There's literally pictures right here of Obama smiling, doing thumbs up. Oh, okay. And then you're thinking to yourself, okay, but what about the campaign ads? Okay, well, even John McCain's son got up and said, yeah, I can't believe you did this for a political ad. Well, I can't believe you did this. So let's look at this video right here.
Never forgetting those heroes with whom he served. Never forgetting those heroes with whom he served. He returned home, spirit unbroken, again devoting himself to his country. Navy officer, congressman, senator, taking on the establishment and defying special interests. And never forgetting those heroes with whom he served. Today, John McCain is ready to lead America into the new century. His mission to fundamentally reform government. More experience and more courage than anyone. Ready to be president and leader of the free world.
I swear to you that from my first day in office to the last breath I draw, I will do everything in my power to make you proud of your government.
John McCain for president.
Now, I could be wrong, but that's John McCain's political ad in Arlington National Cemetery. So what are you doing here? Like, this is the dumbest hoax of all time. This is one they shouldn't even have touched with a 10-foot pole. And it gets worse because they're doing all this, and Kamala, or whoever's running Kamala's account, gets up and does this monster post on X, formerly known as Twitter, basically blasting El Trumpo, saying, I cannot believe you politicize this. This is a disgrace. How dare you do this at Arlington National Cemetery for the troops, for the troops, for the troops, for the troops. Here's the best part. El Trumpo was there because the families, all 13 of them, contacted him and invited him there. They all said, please come to honor our sons, our daughters. Please come. He said, hell yes. And you're thinking to yourself, Rubio, well, what if they didn't call Kamala? They did. Kamala wouldn't take their call. So they were trying to invite her, and she wouldn't go because she didn't take the call. Like, come on. And you're thinking, okay, well, they didn't call Kamala. They called her staff. Even if, man, the staff has it. The staff, this is a no-brainer. You go to this. No matter how you even feel about what happened at the Afghanistan withdrawal and how botched it was, this is one you kind of wipe your hands with and go, yes, let's honor the troops. They're doing something that I can't do, I won't do, I didn't do, so why would you not? This is just a big loss. And then what happens after that? The family members, I think all 13 of them did this, put out videos blasting Kamala and Joey B. Holy hell. And each video is like 2 minutes long, and it's just them, just a little phone cam, and they're going off on Kamala and Joey B. and just saying you watch the video right here.
Kamala, your statement is nothing more than a political spin to help you look better.
Vice President Harris, why will you not express your condolences yourself? Why have we never heard from you?
You have disparaged all 13 who have lost their lives as well as their families, exhibiting your lack of gratitude by your silence.
President Trump has been there for us. He's been a rock for us.
These are the only memories we get to make with our son, and it is you who is playing politics and trying to detract from our memories made that day.
Yeah, you can see that. That's like super cringe. Like the whole Democrat campaign, if they would have just, number one, gone, obviously that's an easy one. But if they had just not said anything and just kind of let it go and not try to politicize it, because what they were saying he was politicizing, they actually politicized it. And that just makes them look even worse because everyone immediately says, well, where's Joey B? Where's Kamala? Like, what's going on? You guys had no reps there. And then there was arguments that, the Trump staff was pushing guards and doing this, and there should. Really? You got cameras everywhere, and no one got any footage of this? Come on, man. Just take the L on this one because this one was really stupid, and it's just a bad look. Focus. Focus up. I'm talking to you, Randy and Chevy of The Ride, which is on Tuesday at 10 p.m. Pacific time. They do a great job. Two big Canadian dudes that are absolutely hilarious. I don't know if they're trying to be hilarious, but to me, I roar the entire time. They do a great job. You can find them on YouTube, LinkedIn. I don't know if they're on Spotify, but I know they're on X and Instagram and all that good stuff. Welcome back to episode 74 of the Rubio Method. My name is Chris Rubio. If you have any email questions, you can email rubio@therubiomethod.com. That's rubio@therubiomethod.com. Let's get to section 3. Accept and embrace. Kamala Harris went 39 days. She got inaugurated, wink, wink, for all the Spotify and iTunes listeners, as the Democratic national candidate, presidential candidate, because Joey B decided he was going to step down / cough, cough, a coup pushed him out because they knew he wasn't going to win after the debate where Trumpo just destroyed him and Joey B just didn't have it, which he's old, I get it. So Kamala had her first sit-down interview, and you're thinking, hell yeah, let's get it going. It's only been 39 days. What are we going to talk about? Well, whoa. First of all, she had some let's say qualifications or rules that she had. Number one, it had to be done on CNN. Okay, that's going to be obviously, it's a no-brainer for them. Okay, it's a very friendly organization. They're going to give her lobbed questions during this live interview. Okay, who's the host? It's going to be Dana Bash. Spelled Dana, but she pronounces it Dana. Very, very fluffy. Okay, she is pretty much as far left as you can get. So it's a great pick by Kamala. I would have done the exact same thing if I was her. All right. Oh, but I said live. It wasn't live. They had to have it recorded. So this is our first sit-down live interview that can't be live. And supposedly it went for 41 minutes, but they only aired 18 minutes of it. So imagine how much they had to edit out. Imagine how bad it must have been. If number one, your staff is worried that you can't do something live, okay. But then if it's 41 minutes and they have to cut over half of it down because what you said is so bad or just not clear, that's embarrassing. That's flat out embarrassing. And you're thinking to yourself, well, she's a proud woman. Okay, she can do this on her own. She could do it. She had to have Vice President candidate Tim Walz with her. Holy hell. Now, you can be a strong woman, independent woman, all that. And you may think to yourself, well, Ruby, are you just a sexist right now? I'm not. I love strong, independent women. I'm married to the strongest, most independent / meanest woman possible. She scares the hell out of me, okay? And she's 5'3", but she is a very strong, independent woman. And she could do a live interview right now. All right, she wouldn't because she doesn't like to talk to people, but she could definitely do it. So don't call me sexist on that one. This is a bad look again. Like, you can't do it. You're going to be the leader of the free world, the most powerful country on the planet, the most powerful job on the planet, and you can't do an interview for 41 minutes by yourself. So they bring up Tim Walz, okay? And he's sitting there, and they're like in some sort of diner, and the lighting was terrible. It was just not a good setup. And she even had notes. She even brought out notes, man. Come on. So you could see her like looking down. Like, these are not hard questions, because if it's taped, there's no way that CNN and Dana Bash did not give them the questions beforehand. Like, we're going to ask you, what do you plan to do on your first day? What do you plan to do on your first day, Kamala? And her answer was just like, what are you talking about? She talks about the deadline of time and the climate, and well, you can see the video right here.
You have less time to make your case to voters than any candidate in modern American history. The voters are really eager to hear what your plans are. If you are elected, what would you do on day one in the White House?
Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you, first and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward, in a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism. I think, sadly, in the last decade, we have had in the former president someone who has really been pushing an agenda and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans, really dividing our nation, and I think people are ready to turn the page on that.
So what would you do day one?
Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families, for example, extending the child tax credit to $6,000 for families for the first year of their child's life, to help them buy a car seat, to help them buy baby clothes, a crib. There's the work that we're going to do that is about investing in the American family around affordable housing, a big issue in our country right now. So there are a number of things on day one.
Okay, when you say deadline, isn't time obviously the reference of it? It's not like the deadline of an M&M, or well, I guess you could do a deadline with an expiration date, but like you can't say the deadline of my nose, deadline of my cheeks, a deadline of an, I don't even know. A deadline implies time. Time implies deadline. So that's just stupid. Where are you going? Like, you know what they're going to ask you the first question. They gave them to you. What are you going to do on your first day? Well, I'm planning on signing this, cutting this, opening this, closing this, blah, 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 blah. There, I just did it. All right. So you're thinking maybe, well, Tim Walz, maybe he did better. And they asked him about his stolen valor. Okay, stolen valor is where you claim you are higher up in the, let's say, government, military, or you claim that you did something in battle. And he's been going along saying that, oh yeah, when he was in Afghanistan and he carried weapons of war and he did this with all the troops and all that. And it's just not true. You can see this video right here of what he talks about.
The country is just starting to get to know you. I want to ask you a question about how you've described your service in the National Guard. You said that you carried weapons in war, but you have never deployed actually in a war zone. A campaign official said that you misspoke. Did you?
Well, first of all, I'm incredibly proud. I've done 24 years of wearing the uniform of this country. Equally proud of my service in a public school classroom, whether it's Congress or the governor. My record speaks for itself, but I think people are coming to get to know me. I speak like they do. I speak candidly. I wear my emotions on my sleeves, and I speak especially passionately about our children being shot in schools and around guns. So I think people know me. They know who I am. They know where my heart is. And again, my record has been out there for over 40 years to speak for itself.
And the idea that you said that you were in war, did you misspeak as the campaign has said?
Yeah, I said we were talking about, in this case, this was after a school shooting, the ideas of carrying these weapons of war. And my wife, the English teacher, told me my grammar's not always correct. But again, if it's not this, it's an attack on my children for showing love for me, or it's an attack on my dog. I'm not going to do that. And the one thing I'll never do is I'll never demean another member's.
His grammar's off? If your grammar is off, it just means you sound like an idiot. It doesn't mean you lie for 30 years, man. Grammar is like you ain't talking like this, okay? It's not that you lied for 24 years and you publicly lied and did it on interviews and speeches and in classrooms and boardrooms and all that stuff. So here's another thing, like, they knew he was getting asked this question. There's no doubt about it. This is a no-brainer. We're gonna ask you this question about stolen valor. The answer they came up with, everyone in that party came up with, let's go with grammar. Let's go with my grammar's bad. I could go into that room right now and say, no, that's a bad idea, guys. This is not going to play out. Let's just say, yeah, I kind of lied about it one time, and I just kind of rolled with it. And it's one of those lies that I've told it so many times that I just kind of feel like it's true, even though I kind of know it's not. That would have been better. That would have been better than saying grammar, because then it looks like you're just dumb, and that you're just like, you're not even prepared. Like, how did you not know this was going to happen? All right, so it came off really, really, really bad. They even questioned her about her flip-flopping on fracking, because there's clear video of her saying, I will stop fracking, I will stop fracking. And now, all of a sudden, fracking has to do with oil reserves and all that stuff, and Pennsylvania is a key state. Whoever wins Pennsylvania most likely is going to win the election. And she's come out and said, yeah, I'm all for fracking. We got to do more fracking. And everyone on the right is saying, hey, man, There's video of you nonstop about it. Hey, come on, here's the video right here.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. You know, we have to just acknowledge that the residual impact of fracking is enormous in terms of the impact on the health and safety of communities. I think about this issue through the lens of my baby nieces, who are 1.5 and 3 years old. And when I look at those babies and I think about what the world will be like in 20 years if we don't act, I'm really afraid. And as it relates to those Republicans in Congress, where I've now been for 2.5 years, every one of those members need to look at the babies, the grandbabies in their life, and then look in the mirror and ask themselves, why have they failed to act?
And in 2019, you said, quote, there is no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. Fracking, as you know, is a pretty big issue, particularly in your must-win state of Pennsylvania.
Sure.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
That's the answer you got? That's what's going on? Like, oh, my values have always been the same? No, they haven't. But that's okay. Everyone's values change over time. If your values stayed the same as they did when you were 5 years old, you've never matured. And it's kind of weird. Your value should change like every couple of years. I'm not saying like your main value, like you believe in Mr. Jesus, or you believe that punching a kitty or a puppy is bad, or stabbing someone in the eye with a rusty fork is bad. Obviously that. But I'm saying your values along of what you believe, fracking, okay, or climate change or whatever, that's going to adjust as you evolve, as you get older, as you get more mature. There's no one that's watching this right now or listening on iTunes and Spotify. They can tell me, oh my God, my values are the exact same as they were when I was in high school. It's literally impossible, unless you've been in a coma. If you've been in a coma and you just woke up, I will give you the excuse of, good, yeah, you've been in a coma, you're fine. I get it. So it's just gotten bad. And so you're thinking, okay, what about after the interview? After the interview, has she gone on speaking? Yeah, Kamala has gone on, she's doing some campaign stops, and it's painful. Rubio, you're being mean, you just don't like her. I feel bad for her. I feel bad for her because I don't think she knows who she truly is. She's been elevated in stance from a long, long time simply because of her gender and her color, and that's a proven thing. I mean, Joey B even said he hired her as a DEI hire. And I think she's not ready for this. I don't think she was ready for the VP. She's not a very good public speaker. She speaks off a teleprompter all the time. I mean, she can't go off the cuff. When she does, that's when she gets, she just starts those word salads where instead of, she makes a sentence that's 10 words, she makes it 40 words because she keeps repeating the same thing and just add words where she doesn't need to add words to. You want to be concise, succinct, boom, 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 in and out. Bottom line, like I always say. So she's doing a rally. One's in Michigan, Detroit, and one's in Pennsylvania. Okay. Now, here's the video of that.
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time. Thank unions for sick leave. Thank unions for paid family leave. Thank unions for your vacation time.
Since when does the vice president have what sounds like a southern accent?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well,
I mean, this is...
She was talking about unions in Detroit using one tone of voice.
Is this something that
same
you think...
line.
Okay, Peter.
That she used the same line in Pittsburgh, and it sounded like she at least had some kind of a southern drawl.
I mean, do you hear the question that you're... I mean, do you think Americans seriously think that this is an important question? It's just... Hearing it sounds so ridiculous.
Well, but hearing it is...
The question. I'm talking about the questions.
Okay. I understand. You get around some boys, your girls, whatever, you might pick up an accent just a tad. Like you might be a little bit more excited. You talk faster. Maybe you go back to like old football mode where you're kind of jiving with everybody. But this is blatant. Like the Detroit one, she's got a very, let's say, soulful accent. It's almost like that scene from Airplane when, I don't speak jive, on that movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. If you haven't seen it, I'm not talking to you for 5 minutes because I'm embarrassed for you because it's such a good movie. And trust me, you'll understand the scene when the flight attendant can't speak jive. And I think June Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver, she comes out and she goes, hold on, I can speak jive. And she starts cussing out the two black guys. Kamala is going one way, and then she gets to Pennsylvania and she's like prim and proper. Like that's to me, that's rude. Just talk to me like if you're going to be a presidential candidate, be a presidential candidate. You should speak better than I do. Okay. And right now she doesn't. And I feel bad for her. I do because I think she's in over her head. She's just trying to scramble. She's not doing any more interviews right now. She's begging for El Trumpo they're doing a September 9th or 10th, they're doing an ABC debate. She wants it sit down with notes. ABC already said, no, man, we already agreed with Joey B how it was going to be. She wants the mics turned up. She wants the mics turned up because she doesn't want them ever turned off because she knows El Trumpo won't be able to contain himself, and she'll say something stupid. He'll be like, "Oh, Jesus, good God," like that. And she wants us to do her famous line that she did with Mike Pence when did his interview. Every time he cut her off, she would do, oh, "I'm speaking, I'm speaking, I'm speaking." And like when you say that, it's such a condescending move. It's like when a dude asks his wife, "Are you okay? Why are you mad? Are you mad?" You just don't do that. And if you do that, run. Okay, it's just one of those things. Like, why are you so upset? Are you upset? And I'm speaking. I'm speaking. And every time she said it comes off more condescending. Well, she can't do that now because El Trumpo literally can't cut her off because they're cutting the mics. Remember, I said when El Trumpo and Joey B debated, I said that was actually a good thing because it doesn't allow El Trumpo to open his damn mouth when he should just shut up. It's one of those things. Just like Joey B, let him just swirl the drain. Don't even throw him a life raft. Same thing with Kamala. Just let her go. And just don't interrupt. You can't interrupt, and just let her talk because she can't. And like I said, I feel bad for her. Honestly, I do. Let's move on from Kamala. I'm done with that. Working hard is not enough. All right, Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, he's the owner of Facebook, Meta. I think he switched the name to. He's a gazillionaire. I think he's worth like $50 billion. Something. He's like one of the top 5 richest people on the planet. So he's got a lot of clout. All of a sudden, he writes this letter last week, and I get my local paper. I watch all the news networks because I want to see. No one's talking about it, like no one at all. And you're like, okay, what's the letter? Is it a love letter, Rubio? No. So he pens this letter to Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan is the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. All right. He writes in this letter, and I'm going to read a little bit here so I get it right. In 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, repeatedly pressured our teams for months to censor certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire. So no matter what they said, the White House and Joey B's government officials told Facebook, Meta, anyone that posts on COVID that doesn't follow along with these lines, delete it. They can't post it, or censor their account, delete their account, put them under suspension. And Zuckerberg and all those guys at the time said, we're not too sure about this. And they're like, no, even jokes, even satire, anything that has to make fun of the Rona, you're like, oh, ha, ha, you got to get 8 shots, or it's the only one where you have to take a test to even realize you have it because there's no symptoms, and 1 shot's good, 2 shots more, all these things where everyone was saying, hey, man, like I have to wear a mask walking through the restaurant, but when I sit down, I can take it off because it's safer then. Well, how does that even make sense? Like that makes 0 sense, And so anything on Facebook that had to do with COVID-19, if it wasn't in line with what the White House and Joey B wanted, boom, censored immediately. So that's one thing. The next one, and Zuckerberg did say, in hindsight, they shouldn't have done it. Okay, but it's past due, bud. That's 4 years past due. And look at how many people you affected, okay? The FBI also warned them about a potential Russian disinformation operation about the Biden family in Burisma in the lead up to the 2020 election. So the FBI, before the election, says, hey, you keep an eye out. We're looking at some Russian disinformation operation. So anything you see, we're really pushing this, that Russia disinformation operation, they're going after the election. Do you remember reading all about that? And everyone's like, what are you talking about? And even El Trumpo, one of the debates, he goes, are you talking about Russia again? Like, this is what you're going with? And Russia ended up spending, I think it was like $600, like literally $600 on Facebook ads. $600, trust me, someone who's put out Facebook ads, $600 gets you like a week. And it gets you like in a small market in Idaho. You're not getting a lot for $600. All right, so that was nothing. And it was about the Biden family in Barriso. Because remember, this is when Hunter's laptop came out. And everyone's like, hey, he's got this laptop full of videos of him doing cocaine and crack and all that stuff. But he's with hookers. Like, this is factually true. And it's also, he's making all these cell phone messages where 10% for the big guy. Who's the big guy? Obviously, it's Joey B. But everyone said this is not true. There was, remember, 51 intelligence officers that said, oh, man, that's fake news. That's not true. Side note, one of those 51, Dana Bash's husband. Remember the lady that gave Kamala the interview? So 51 FBI officials said it factually true. That's not Hunter Biden's laptop. It actually was. And now why was Hunter, on the board for Burisma board? Why was he on the board in Burisma, this company? Because, yeah, I don't know. Well, does he speak the language in Ukraine? No. Does he know anything about electricity? No. So why are we paying him $85,000 a year? I don't know. Okay, that was all there too, because that could have swayed a lot of voters, because a lot of voters would have said, everyone's saying that Joey B is this really nice guy, and I get it. He's the old grandpa guy, but his son and his family are completely dirty. Because remember, Joey B countless times says, I have no idea what my son does. We don't ever talk business, which is an obvious lie. If you have a father-son relationship, you're going to be able to speak about your family, your friends, your faith, and obviously your job. It's a no-brainer. Hey, son, how's work? Oh, thanks, Dad. It was fine. Okay, one of those things. And the fact that they didn't, and specifically the New York Post story about corruption between Joey B's family, they deleted that. It was complete false information when it turns out, yet again, it was 100% true. 100% true, man. Like, what's going on? And Zuckerberg also admitted in this penned letter that he shouldn't have given so much to the Democratic Party, because he was donating millions, I think tens of millions of dollars for campaigns. And he goes, yeah, in hindsight, probably not a good move on my part. Okay, so why would he pen this letter now? Why would he do it? By the way, I just like saying pen this letter instead of wrote this letter. It kind of sounds flashy, like I'm some sort of English professor or something. So why would he pen this letter? I think two reasons. Number one, I think a whistleblower was about to leak it and say, hey, this is what happened. Or I think he thinks that El Trumpo's coming in and is going to blast him. Like, okay, we're going to uncover this anyway, so you might want to give us a heads up on what's going on. Those are my thoughts. I don't know. Let's move on to our final thing. Good God, this is a quicker show, but I don't have Jenna doing all the stuff in the back, so God knows how this is going to turn out. Confidence is the key. Confidence is the key. So in Louisville, it's 2024. Pretty much everyone's got security cams. If you don't have, a couple just mounted security cams now outside your house, everyone's pretty much got a Ring doorbell. A Ring doorbell, for those of you that are just got woken up out of a coma, it's just a doorbell, and it's got a little camera on it. Anytime someone comes in within range of it, you could set the range to 2 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, a bubble like this or a bubble like this. It goes off and boom, it starts recording. So everyone's got these. But this guy in Louisville doesn't care. Why doesn't he care? Well, he's going to this guy's porch, and he takes a dump on this dude's porch. He's done it 6 times. 6 times, and he's wearing the same outfit every time. He always does it after midnight. I don't understand why this guy hasn't got like a BB gun or at least a hose or something, but the dude has taken a shat on this guy's porch 6 times. The same guy, the same guy's porch. So I don't know if this guy really hates this guy or he just likes this spot, because he's pooping in the same spot as well. It's not like, oh, this spot of the deck, this spot of the porch, no, it's like literally bullseye in the same exact spot. So number one, great aim. Number two, why? And the homeowner, even now, he put kitty litter out one time and he goes, be helpful. Like, kitty litter? Number one, he's not a cat. Number two, shoot him. Get him out of there. And even put out like these loud horn sirens that, like, when the motion goes, wah, 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 goes all crazy. Hey, man, stay up for a week, get a dog, get a BB gun, and eliminate the shatter on your porch. What are you doing? So that guy, I'm almost impressed with him at this point. He keeps doing it. He keeps dropping deuces right there on the dude's porch, and the dude's not doing anything, just getting some sirens. That's it. But I don't know. I don't know. But this dude, his confidence is the key. We're going to wrap up the show on that. If you have any questions, you can email Rubio@therubiomethod.com.